life-saving donation.
Americans and Afghan allies out of the country in the face of a Taliban takeover. I'm Natalie Brand with concerns about the road ahead.
Also, in just a matter of weeks, the Delta variant changes the U.S. travel landscape.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Inmates at the Ottawa County Jail face charges following a weekend fire at the jail. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the fire happened inside the jail on Saturday. Jail officials say they're still getting estimates on how much damage was done. We're told no one was hurt in the fire. Now, this latest fire just adds to what's been a busy year for the sheriff's office. An April riot led to broken windows and plumbing. Then in May, authorities say a suspect in that riot set a fire in the ceiling of a holding cell. And in June, 2 Ottawa County jailers were arrested on charges that they snuck contraband into the jail for an inmate. The sheriff says the investigation into this latest fire is ongoing, but they expect charges for some inmates. The Arvest Foundation on Monday delivered a life-saving donation to the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, $10,000 to purchase new body armor for the deputies. The Sheriff's Office says deputies were using old vests that might not have provided the same level of protection.
You know, vests are one of those that they expire over time. You know, they've got a shelf life just like anything else.
The Sheriff's Office says they have 13 new vests, but expect to have around 26 new ones soon. Parsons, Kansas is set to become the home of a new law enforcement training center. The training center will offer a host of training classes for law enforcement agencies in 16 different counties. It'll be run by the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center. Parsons Police Chief says it will give all of the agencies it serves a central location that's closer, so they don't have to travel as far for specialized trainings. Well, it turned out to be a pretty decent August day yesterday. We've got more of those to come. Michael Hayslip joins us with the first look at the forecast.
Not too bad, and right on cue, we knew we'd have some additional afternoon rainfall, and that's where we pick up the Skywatch Storm Tracker, mainly throughout south of I-44 through southwest Missouri, does track through northwest Arkansas, barely clips there, Delaware County. We'll take away the cloud cover, just give you a better idea of exactly where we're talking about. Not coming down too hard, little August showers involved with it, and luckily, unlike what we had this morning, no lightning. There's a live look outside of Television City. We've been dry as a bone pretty much all morning long, with temperatures already up to 84 in Joplin. Let's roll 86 right now in Chanute. But you'll notice a dividing line right there where it's a little bit cooler where it is raining, as we see 78 in Neosho and 76 in Monette. Humidity is going to be a little bit increased here throughout the course of our week. You can tell where it comes in right there from the southwest, right off of the Gulf. And of course, the other national talker is a tropical depression, Fred, as it has made its way right now through Atlanta. We'll check in with storm reports as well as additional watches and warnings that it spawned in just a little bit. Our weather trend back up into the high 80s, coming off of a Monday where we hit 88 at Joplin Regional Airport. We're going to be right back there about that same point in time. You'll notice that far right-hand panel, though, going to bring us a little bit of evening rain. And then as we get closer to sunset, it tapers off. But then we're going to be right back at it on Wednesday. Don't think our Wednesday morning rain is going to be as widespread as what we saw this morning. But then here we go, Wednesday evening. And afternoon and evening as well, with temperatures very, very similar. So, Tanya, it's really going to be that same time period. A little pre-sunrise rain. Nothing's going to affect the commute, and then we get a break up until, late morning, noon hour, and then we do the pop-up isolated variety for the afternoons until the weekend.
All right, a lot to keep an eye on there. Thanks, Michael. The Taliban has taken full control of Afghanistan's capital city of Kabul with armed checkpoints in the streets. Yet thousands of American citizens and Afghan allies remain in the country. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
The U.S. military has sent more troops to the airport in Kabul to ensure the safety of Americans trying to flee Afghanistan.
Throughout the night, 9 C-17s arrived, delivering equipment and approximately 1,000 troops. Additionally, 7 C-17s departed, These flights lifted approximately 700 to 800 passengers.
In a statement, a Taliban spokesperson claims foreign citizens in Kabul are not in danger.
When it comes to the Taliban, we are going to look for their actions rather than listen to their words.
President Biden forcefully defended his decision to withdraw from Afghanistan and says the U.S. military will remain just long enough to get Americans and our allies out of the country.
Time is of the essence, and we all share a sense of urgency here. But right now, the mission runs to 31st of August, and I won't begin to speculate what happens after that.
Former National Security Advisor to President Trump, H.R. McMaster, argues some American forces should have stayed to support Afghan allies.
They looked over their shoulders and said, "Who's got our back?" And we said, "Not us. We're leaving."
The concern now is for future threats and the safety of the American homeland.
Most of Afghanistan is ungoverned space. That type of terrain is a potential haven for terrorist organizations, Al-Qaeda and other groups.
Lawmakers, including Democratic Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Mark Warner, say they have questions for the administration about why the U.S. wasn't better prepared for a worst-case scenario. Natalie Brent, CBS News, the White House.
A recent CBS News poll shows 72% of Americans supported the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. However, that poll was taken before the rapid collapse of Afghanistan to the Taliban. Tropical Depression Grace brought flooding to parts of Haiti just 3 days after a 7.2 earthquake shook the country. Now, as rescue efforts resume, hospitals struggle to deal with the number of injured. Makeshift triage tents in one small town deal with broken bones and other crush-related injuries, but more serious injuries require treatment from the bigger hospitals. But the lack of hospital space has led many to wait for treatment on the emergency room floor. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, as cases of the Delta variant surge, Americans reevaluate their travel plans. And later, we're making fast guacamole in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. After a rebound in travel this summer, people are once again canceling plans for trips because of the surging number of COVID cases. In a recent survey, 27% of respondents said they postponed a trip, and more than 54% said the Delta variant has made them less interested in traveling right now. Errol Barnett reports.
It was really kind of heartbreaking to not be able to finally go.
On Wednesday, Cotton Star of Houston was expecting to see her friends in San Diego for the first time in a long time.
I'm a high-risk category, so I was a little concerned with what was going to happen during that travel. I was going to be exposed to a lot of people.
It's been basically 2 years now since I've been able to see them.
Kim Hoff outside Denver has been waiting even longer, planning to meet her friends at DragonCon, a pop culture convention in Atlanta next month.
When it got to the point of the rates just skyrocketing in the last week or so, I thought, no, I'm sorry. There's no level of logistics that will make me feel okay if I bring this back with me.
Both canceled their long-awaited trips due to the spread of the Delta variant.
Airfare is on the downtrend.
Economist Adit Damodaran with the travel app Hopper says summer flight demand has flattened from pandemic highs, which is now leading to lower prices. But his service is finding since July, one aspect of travel is up. There's been a 33% increase in people buying cancelable tickets.
People want to have that option to cancel if for any reason, something happens, the situation develops in a way where they can't take that trip.
Another potential pitfall, airlines cutting flights. In June and July, domestic air cancellations were above their 1% average, which translates to 10,000 cancellations in July alone. For the number of people canceling trips, a sizable number still plan to head out somewhere. According to a recent survey, 26% of respondents say they do in fact plan to travel in October. Errol Barnett, CBS News at Reagan National Airport.
Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If you love the fresh taste of guacamole, we have a recipe that'll turn these into this in less than 5 minutes. Yup, it's fast, tasty, and ooh, it's so good.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
A lot of our action this week and the majority of our focus is going to shift down to the south, all the way down to the Gulf Coast right there, because that's going to be the result of our rain for the rest of the week. And also, too, our increased humidity that's going to make it a little bit sticky during the afternoon as it slowly creeps up day by day. Now, speaking of down to the south, that's where the hardest of the rain has fallen so far through the late morning hours. Lightning been very, very limited, but we are seeing some in the 4 states, especially in southwest Missouri, just on the other side of I-44. And now look what we're picking up in southeast Kansas. Got some pop-ups that are moving their way in between Fredonia and Independence. So as soon as it gets to noon, that noon heat gives you that instability. Now, these over here in southwest Missouri, that's been more of the light shower variety. We haven't seen a whole lot of accumulation. I do want to point out these, though, because these just originated really in the last 10, 15 minutes. And you can tell they got a little bit of that dark green in them, indicating that those are going to probably intensify here by the time we get to the end of the show. We'll come back to Skywatch Storm Tracker here before we get out of here. Make sure that we don't have any other developments that we need to check on. Very comfortable over 7th and Rangeline. Really was a gorgeous start, even with the mostly cloudy skies to begin with. They quickly parted, and it's nothing but blue and sunshine right now as it sits at 84 degrees. That humidity, 61%, doesn't seem too bad. Like I said, incrementally, day by day, we're going to see that increase during the morning and afternoon hours. The wide variety of temperatures here, about a 10-degree difference, and that's kind of our dividing line, if you will. And then remember, we got the rain down here, and we were sitting at 76 in Monette, yet Chanute's up at 86, and even where we've got the pop-ups, 83 and 84 in Neodesha and Independence, and 79 right there in Miami. So yeah, we've had quite the variety on this Tuesday, and there is your line that stretches all the way down into central Texas with the more humid weather, runs right up through us. And of course, on the right-hand side of your screen, we all know what that's a result of. Here is Tropical Depression Fred. It is right now square over Atlanta, pushing up to the northeast. And as it moves through, we've got watches and warnings abound. Everything from not only flooding. Now, luckily, we've been able to back off the Gulf a little bit. But look at that, from Atlanta all the way up to southern Ohio right now are flood warnings for Fred, and then you also have tornado warnings and watches. As a matter of fact, multiple reports indicated in red right there showing those funnel clouds, including one in central Georgia where they had multiple reports of damage to a sports distribution center, a pump house, and also a tractor trailer overturned on an interstate. It goes to show you that even though it was not a tropical storm by the time it got to Atlanta, it certainly was capable of packing a punch, and that will be the case as it moves through Virginia and the Carolinas later on today. And they're in the low category. Not going to be surprised if that's not even bumped up to about the elevated category as Fred moves through. Then, of course, we've got Tropical Storm Grace. Great went from a low pressure system yesterday, now up to a tropical storm. You look at those tracks, by the middle of the week, got a chance to intensify into a Category 1 hurricane. You'll be curious to see what she does, though, when she hits the Yucatan Peninsula right there. That can probably not steer her off, but maybe, hopefully, slow her down a little bit. Here in the 4 states, high 80s for about the 3rd consecutive day. Very seasonable temperatures, and more importantly, perhaps, if you've got plans for the evening, give you an idea of how that's going to pop up. Like I said, action's going to work pretty much from south to north, clearing off for Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday afternoon, we're going to roll it one more time. As I give you an idea here on the national picture, watch how Texas turns green, and then everything wants to move toward us out of the Gulf. 7-day forecast, those chances for rain, very, very, it's not slight, but at the same point in time, Tanya, it's not widespread. We don't have to worry about flooding. We don't have to worry about severe storms. It's good old-fashioned August showers.
Yeah. Everybody loves a good shower every now and then.
Well, you know, and you'll hear some rumbles of thunder and throw a lightning strike in there every now and then, but, you know, it's not one of those that's going to last all night.
That's true. All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Master Sergeant Greg Hart in the U.S. Army. The Joplin native joined the 1st Infantry, the Big Red One, and served a tour in Iraq. To Master Sergeant Greg Hart, we thank you, our 4-state hero. Ready for a fast and authentic guacamole? Howard shows us his go-to favorite that only takes 5 minutes to make in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Here in the test kitchen, we're big fans of guacamole. It's the perfect dip for chips and makes our salads and nachos extra special. Spread it on toast, which happens to be pretty trendy right now, and it's a great way to jumpstart your day. And so you never have to worry about running out of it. We have a quick throw together version that's done in minutes. We start by cutting a couple of ripe Hass avocados, like this. We remove the pit and cut each one in half again. At this point, it's super simple to cut away the peel. Now, mash them with a fork until they're as smooth as you like. We add some finely chopped tomato and onion, a bit of garlic powder, and a little salt. And to give it zing, we add a squeeze of lime, which also prevents it from turning black. After mixing everything together, it's ready to go. And if you like your guacamole a little spicier, go ahead and add some chopped jalapeno peppers to it. There you have it. A from-scratch guacamole that takes less than 5 minutes to throw together from start to finish. Although you can serve this all sorts of ways, my favorite way is to dip a chip and enjoy. To get the recipe for what we call our fast guacamole, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a fast, fresh, and flavorful way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
One final look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker as the rain remains south of I-44 in southwest Missouri. And now we're starting to see out in southeast Kansas it not only pop up, but also intensify a little bit. A little hint of yellow there just south of Fredonia. And that would be kind of the phrase for not only today, but also tomorrow with temperatures in the high 80s and pop-up rainstorms, afternoons and evenings.
All right, what do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, 1 out of every 100 babies born today will be born with congenital heart disease. For these infants, their first months are spent in the hospital. Now the new technology is allowing parents to take their babies home with the assurance that doctors are keeping a close eye on them remotely. Plus, ivermectin is a horse medication that's gaining attention as a way to treat COVID. We're going to tell you what medical experts have to say. And it's not only students and faculty going back to school at Pitt State, businesses and organizations headed to campus as well. We'll tell you why. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's all coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dal. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.